Thank you.
Okay, Bruchim Abayim, everyone. Bruchim Abayim. Everybody hear me? Okay. Welcome to everyone. On behalf of Anshei Chesed congregation.
You're not speaking into the microphone.
All right. On behalf of Anshei Chesed congregation, I would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us for our annual Yom HaZikaron, Yom Haatzmaut program. We have a somewhat lengthy program this evening, but I think you will find it meaningful and enjoyable. So to start off, let's begin with the national anthems of the United States and Israel. So please rise.
Say, can you see my arms early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare of bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, stay does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What's screw? Okay, please be seated. All right, last week we remembered the victims of the Holocaust on Yom HaShoah. Unfortunately, as recent reports show, we are still losing brave men, women, and children in Israel at the hands of our enemies. Today is designated in Israel as Yom HaZikaron to remember our fallen IDF soldiers and victims of terrorism. We will begin our program with a video of the commemoration of Yom HaZikaron in Israel that was actually produced by an organization in the diaspora. After the conclusion, please rise as Baruch Buki Erblich recites the Kamali in memory of these martyrs. I should say.
So I remember when I was 2 years old, and I watched the first parade of Yom Haatzmaut in Yerushalayim, Rehov Yaakov. My mother was holding me. I remember that. This phenomenal. I will sing the memorial prayer for the fallen soldiers, and I will especially mention two people very close to me, my neighbor Gidon Lebanon, and my friend's brother from Cheder, Avram Alek Kowalski. Ve'eh nishmosam tzkur v'tzor chayim.
El molei rachamim shoichem b'meroimim hamitzei menuchonechoinu al kanfei B'manuis kedoshim u'teorim v'giborim kezoi ha'rokiyav mozeirim le'nishemois ולוחמי המחתרות שנפלו במלחמות ישראל וכל הלוחמים במערכות העם שחירפו נפשם למות על קדושת ובעזרת אלוהים מערכות ישראל הביאו לתקומת האומה והמדינה ולגאולת הארץ ועיר האלוהים וכל אלה שנרצחו בארץ ומחוצה לה בידי המרצחים מארגוני הטרור יימח שמם וזכרם. לא כן בנו רחמים יסתירם בבסיס כנופם לעולמים וצרוי רחמים אס נשמע סום אדוני הוא נחלתם בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימים ולא ימר
Sheldon just offered to introduce me. I think everybody knows who I am. Thank you. In the past 12 months, we've had speakers in our shul whose names are familiar to us all. Esther Waxman spoke at a Friday night oneg last year. 2 months ago, Stephen Flato was here. And this winter, Rabbi Yonah and Mary Full were here as guests. The story of their children, 2 of them victims of terror, one both a soldier who fell while also being a victim of kidnapping terror, are well known to us. Nachshon Waxman, Lisa Flato, Ari Full. Not just names, but people whose deaths cut through us to our core. They're part of the 23,741 fallen soldiers and the 3,146 victims of terror. These are the numbers I had when preparing for tonight, who are memorialized over the course of Yom HaZikaron in Israel. Tonight I wanted to share with you a few stories, one a little longer, others a little shorter, of soldiers and terror victims, to give names to and stories to people who are otherwise sometimes just considered statistics. The first one is Moshe's Temple Palace. In the book Like Dreamers, Yossi Klein Halevi tells a story of 7 soldiers who were part of the '67 war and followed their life through the time of the writing of his book. And one of the soldiers was Arik Haatzmaut. One of the people Arik Haatzmaut worked with was Moshe's Temple Palace, and one of their jobs together was to visit the wives of those who fell in combat and inform them of their loss. Yossi Klein Halevi writes about the time they went to visit Naomi Mizrahi, the as yet unsuspecting widow of Yirmi Mizrahi, who had just fallen in battle. So this is a quote from the book. When she saw the 2 men in uniform, she wept. Naomi was left with 2 young children and a patch of field. What was Arik supposed to say? What comfort could he offer that wouldn't sound perfunctory? Moshe unbuckled his belt and sighed as his ample stomach expanded. How are the children coping? What about your financial situation? Is there a will? Naomi stopped crying and started talking. Moshe retrieved a notebook and wrote. His tone remained matter-of-fact, businesslike, as if to say, this happened to you, but it could just as well be my wife sitting in your place. No awkward words of consolation, no false pieties, only offers of practical assistance. Arik watched with admiration. Here was a form of condolence he could manage. Quote, this isn't a one-time visit, it's a connection, Moshe said. As they left, you'll be hearing from us. That's on page 129. On page 165, Yossi Klein Halevi writes, at Moshe's Temple Palace, Mata's deputy commander, Mata, of course, that's Mata Gur, and Arik's partner, intending to the brigade's widows, was killed in a firefight with terrorists in the Jordan Valley. Arik maintained regular contact with the families he and Moshe had adopted, and those families now included Moshe's wife, Dahlia, and her 2 young sons. Don't worry. Everything is okay, but it looks like I won't be home for a while. Those are the last words that Zachary Balmo wrote to his family many years ago. And this year, for the first time, he is included in the list of soldiers confirmed to have fallen in battle. He was an IDF tank commander, Brooklyn-born, student at Yeshiva Har Etzion, Hezder Yeshiva. It took 37 years from the time that he went missing after the Sultan Yaakov battle until he was brought home earlier this month. Yonah Baumel, his father, spent the rest of his life, along with Zachary's mother Miriam, waiting for this day. Yonah Baumel passed away on Shavuos in 2009. Those who have not read about it can read the news cycle of the last months to see how Russia, the Russian army, helped to make this reunion and return what the IDF called Operation Bittersweet Song. At Zachary's burial in Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu told of how all the different security organizations of the country worked to make this happen, how Israel unites over bringing home its fallen soldiers. One of the most recent victims of terror from the rockets launched this past Shabbos was Ziad al-Hamada. 2 days ago, on May 6th, in the Bedouin town of Segev Shalom, Israeli President Ruvi Rivlin came to pay his respects to the Al-Hamada family. "You have no idea what it means to me that you have come to visit," said the son of Ziad Al-Hamada, who was killed on Sunday in a rocket attack on Ashkelon. President Rivlin responded, "Why wouldn't I visit? You are a citizen of Israel. Terror strikes us all without discrimination and without mercy, and we will never surrender to it." President Rivlin wrote on his Facebook page, and I'm going to read it in Hebrew and then the translation in English. "Nichamti hayom mishpachat Haatzmaut, mishpachat Agadi, mishpachat Al-Hamada, she'ibdu et hayikarim lahem mikol, mi'erei harakatot shebotze mirutzat Aza ve'evri Yisrael. אנחנו יחד שבטי ישראל טוב ורע, לא משנה לאיזה שבט אנחנו שייכים, חרדים וחילונים, דתיים, מסורתיים, יהודים וערבים. הטרור פוגע ללא הבחנה וללא רחם, ואנחנו לא נכנע לו לעולם. משפחות יקרות, אני מתפלל כל כך, שלא תדעו עוד כאב. Translation. I paid condolence calls today on the Prezu Azman family whose son Pinchas Menachem was killed by shrapnel in Ashdod, the Agadi family whose father Moshe was killed by a rocket in Ashkelon, and the Al-Hamada family whose father Ziad was killed by a rocket on a factory in Ashkelon. Ultra-Orthodox, secular, religious, traditional Jews and Arabs, terror strikes us all without discrimination, without mercy. We will never surrender to it. We are together in celebration and in consolation, and I pray with all my might that you will know no more sorrow. For us here, our observance of Yom HaZikaron is limited to what we've just experienced together. In Israel, it's 24 hours of sadness, reflection, wistful longing, reopening of a wound that is so deep. But like President Rivlin said, we are together in celebration and in consolation. We have mourned here. We have tried to find consolation, and as we transition now to our Yom Haatzmaut celebrations, we take permission from those who gave everything so the Jewish people can have a homeland. In Israel, they've been celebrating now for several hours. There's a line I'm sure that many of you have seen, Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaShoah, two saddest days in the Israeli calendar. The first, meaning Yom HaZikaron, even though it comes a week later, reminds us of the cost of having a state. The second, meaning Yom HaShoah, of the cost of not having one. As we remember the fallen, we also thank God for the miracle of the Jewish state. I hope you'll join us tonight, after the program is over, for the Tefillah Chagigit that will follow. I'm just going to conclude reading in English. We say it in Hebrew every week, but the prayer for the members of the Israel Defense Forces, the Mishavera for the Chayalei Tzahal. I'm just going to read it in English. He who blessed our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, may he bless the fighters of the Israel Defense Force, who stand guard over our land and the cities of our God, from the border of the Lebanon to the desert of Egypt, and from the great sea unto the approach of the Arabah, on the land, in the air, and on the sea. May Hashem cause the enemies who rise up against us to be struck down before them. May the Holy One, blessed is He, preserve and rescue our fighting men and women from every trouble and distress, and from every plague and illness. And may He send blessing and success in their every endeavor. May He lead our enemies under their sway. May He grant them salvation and crown them with victory. May there be fulfilled for them the verse, for it is Hashem your God who goes with you to battle your enemies for you, to save you. Now let us respond. Amen. Before I hand over the microphone back to Sheldon, I just want to thank Sheldon for being the leader, the organizer. All of the committee members are on the back of your program, all the sponsors are on the back of your program, but Sheldon is the glue that holds it all together, and he is the reason, the real driving force behind our being here tonight. Thank you, Sheldon.
Thank you, Rabbi. We're all very proud of our IDF soldiers, members of the most humane army in the world, despite what our enemies think or claim. We have decided to dedicate this part of our program to the IDF. Many of our congregants have children grandchildren, or other relatives who have served or are serving in the IDF. We have asked them to request short videos from these relatives talking about their experiences in the IDF. We received many more videos than expected, most at the last minute. At this point, I'd like to thank Claudia Cohen for compiling these videos and for working on Projector this evening.
Families are obviously going to be upset. They've been sitting here with their loved ones who they were so excited to see alive, only now to control, and they need surgery. I've been here since Thursday. No one except the Israeli hospital has taken any of our patients.
Hi, I'm Anshei Chesed. I'm in the Tanks Infantry Unit based down south by Eilat. And one of the things I find most inspiring about being in the Army is that I get to work with all different kinds of people. There's Natim, Sortifi, and we're all working towards the same goal, which is to protect Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. Another thing that I find very inspirational is that everyone in the Army can really feel the support of Am Yisrael, whether it be in Israel or in America. And that even my friends who live in Israel, who don't even have family in the States, can really feel the Ashkas.
I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed at what's here. This is like another world compared to the other hospital. Imaging department. I mean, imaging. My God, they have machines here. They have actual operating rooms, and it's just amazing. I mean, they don't have this at the little hospital that I came from.
My name is Ariel Mensch. I'm a second lieutenant in IDF. I'm right now commanding officer in Officers Academy, which is located in Ramon in the Negev. I'm the grandson of Arlene Fishbein and Lara Fishbein in Boynton Beach. I want to thank you for all your wishes and all your tefillos. I'm protecting the state of Israel here, and you're protecting my baby there.
Hi, my name is Yassi Gillard. My grandparents Gita and Sheldon Lindau are members of Congregation Anshei Chesed in Boynton Beach, and I am proud to have served in the IDF as a Chovesh Kravi and as a Chayal Boded.
Hi everyone, hi Saftush. My name is Topaz Shavo. I am the granddaughter of Irene Solomon of Boynton Beach, Florida. I served in the Israeli army for 2 years as an instructor teaching new recruits how to handle firearms and defend Israel. I would like to wish you all a Yom Haatzmaut Sameach from Israel. Bye!
Hey guys, my name is Akiva Glad. I am Granny and Poppy's grandson. I live in Israel, in Beit Shemesh. Actually now I live in Efrat, but my family lives in Beit Shemesh. We made Aliyah when I was 3. I serve in Givati, in Plugat Tomet, which is a Pluga meant for kids from Haredi homes. I'm a mem there, which means I'm in charge of 15 people. Currently we are serving in the city of Hebron, so we're making sure things stay calm there. I went through a lot of units in the Army and really got to experience Tzahal, and I believe that I couldn't ask for a more meaningful service, especially now that I'm in Hebron. You really get to see how important it is what we do, and I hope you all make Aliyah so that we can all, enjoy Israel together, especially you, Granny Papi. Yeah, go Tzahal!
Commander.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Shabi. I'm Irene Solomon's granddaughter from Boynton Beach, Florida. I live in Israel, and I served the Army for 2 years in the intelligence, and I want to wish a Yom Haatzmaut Sameach.
The commander of British forces in Afghanistan. I have fought in combat zones around the world, including Northern Ireland, Bosnia, Macedonia and Iraq. I was also present throughout the conflict in Gaza in 2014. Based on my experience and on my observations, the Israel Defence Force, the IDF, does more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rizal, granddaughter of Gita and Sheldon Lindau. I'm doing my national service to the state of Israel this year by serving at the Lone Soldier Center in memory of Michael Lee.
The IDF took extraordinary measures to give Gaza civilians notice of targeted areas, dropping millions of leaflets, broadcasting radio messages, sending texts, and making tens of thousands of phone calls. Let me repeat that. The Israelis called Gazans on their cell phones and told them to leave their residences and move to safety. Never in the history of warfare has an army phoned its enemy and told them where they're going to drop their bombs.
My name is Tuva Chertok. I am the grandson of Dan and Esther Azulai and served for 3 years in the military in the paratrooper unit in the IDF in the Brigade 890. I drafted in 2011 and served until 2014 through all the different operations as a combat soldier, commander, and last as a staff sergeant. Since 2014, my release, I go back to the Army for active reserve duty, and whenever their Army needs, every couple of months, we go back and do what has to be done. For me, I'm Israeli, so the military service was mandatory and given, but still I viewed it as really a zchut and a privilege to be able to go and serve my country, and especially after thousands of years the Jews had no protection and were sent into thousands to their deaths, to be able to put on the uniform saying Tzahal, the Israeli Defense Force, and really be able to protect the land and the people of Israel. I saw it as a privilege and it filled me with great pride. Today I'm Yom Zikaron. I remembered my friends that, like me, drafted to protect their country, our country, but they didn't have they weren't able to go back home afterwards, and they died during combat, during their service. And
many IDF missions that could have taken out mass military capabilities were aborted to prevent civilian casualties, increasing the risk to Israeli citizens and soldiers. Despite all of this, of course innocent civilians were killed. Every war is chaotic and confusing, and mistakes are frequent. But mistakes are not war crimes.
Hi, my name is David Chesed. I'm originally from West Hempstead, New York, and Baruch Hashem, I made Aliyah with my family 7 years ago. I'm now in the program Hesed, which is 2 years of yeshiva, and within that we do army service. So I'm serving in San Chalim, which is the paratroopers for those who don't know. And it's really been the most amazing experience. One of the highlights, I would say, was on Yom HaShoah. We had one of our training exercises. Me and 100 other Samshunim were going to jump out of the plane into the Shetach where we were training, and it all started on Yom HaShoah. And so before we got into the plane on the tarmac, they had since on Yom HaShoah they have the siren when everybody is silent. And so, for that 1 minute, it was just pure silence. We were all just standing on the tarmac, and we were just thinking to ourselves, how amazing it is that we're here protecting the country that, my great-grandfather, my great-grandparents, fought for and could only dream of having. And it was that amazing thing. And as soon as the siren finished, if I could, got up and said, okay, think about what we're doing now, and let's go. And, Baruch Hashem, that we live in this country.
That's
1 week tonight since Typhoon Haiyan became the most powerful storm ever to hit land. And of course, we've now seen what it did to the Philippines. As of tonight, more than 3,600 people are dead, 1,200 missing, close to 2 million people displaced. Think about all the schools that are destroyed. Sadly, 1 week later, so many people are still waiting for help to reach them. Tonight, Dr. Nancy Schneiderman is with a team of Israeli doctors who specialize in flying in to help the hardest hit populations on Earth. They did it in Haiti, and tonight they're at work in the Philippines.
Laban, I live in Elkanah, Israel, and I am the first cousin of Debbie and Herman Nourier. And as an immigrant who was too old to be in the regular army, to be a regular soldier, I was called upon to serve each year in Israel in reserve duty for 30 days. The uniform was not exactly West Point, more like Satzak. But wearing it was an honor. All they asked me to do was guard duty, but someone has to do it. All our children and grandchildren serve either in the IDF or national service. While Jews all over the world are enjoying their Seder with their families, soldiers in Israel are on alert, guaranteeing the safety of our country. I really think that it's important that every Jew everywhere should generously support our soldiers by contributing to their welfare and even spoiling them a little bit. A Jewish homeland cannot exist without a strong army. As it says in the Gemara, God helps those who help themselves. For the past 71 years, we have been witnessing miracles. May we be worthy to continue to do so.
The Israelis chose a hospital that wasn't in such bad shape, but it needed to have the roof repaired. They came in yesterday, made the repairs, and they're already seeing the first patients, all within 24 hours.
Though damaged, this will serve as headquarters and house 60 Israeli doctors and nurses. As they always do, this strike team comes totally self-sufficient with enough medical supplies, food, and water.
Why come to the Philippines?
Because it's a sense of helping your brothers wherever they are. So it doesn't matter your age, your color.
3 hours old. Congratulations, Mom.
But even in this desperate situation, there's hope. A healthy baby's been born. His name, Israel.
My name is Uri Kesselman, originally from West Hempstead, New York. Now I'm living in Gilad Shmuel, and I'm a sergeant in the Air Force. One of the things that struck me most about serving in the IDF was that when I was originally drafted, I was sent to a base for Olim Chadashim to train, and I noticed that I was serving with people from all over the world, from France, from Ukraine, from Belarus, from England, from Australia, from America, and it really was like a kibbutz galuyut, and I feel very privileged to serve and live in Israel, and I just want to thank everyone for their support back in America.
من هي إسرائيل؟ شنو تمثل إسرائيل؟ هل هي دولة؟ هل هو جماعة منظمة إرهابية؟ كيان؟ كيف ممكن أن نفسرها قبل أن نبدأ في عمق الموضوع؟
دولة إسرائيل شئنا أم أبينا هي دولة مستقلة ذات سيادة.
Hi, my name is Avi. I am the grandson of Owen and Gigi Breslin. I am 29 years old, and I have been in the Army in different places. I have been on the border of the Gaza Strip. I have been on the border of Egypt. It was a very interesting time, very eventful, and thank God I'm home safe. My Bobby and Ziggy, Owen and Gigi, have almost done the same amount of Army service as I have. I live with my wife and my 2 kids in Gush Etzion in Elazar. My kid is 3 years old, and I hope that in 15 years the Army will be a thing of the past. And maybe not needed anymore, but as long as it's needed, I am proud to be a part of a wonderful organization called the IDF that protects all of Am Yisrael throughout all of Eretz Yisrael. Haatzmaut.
لها وجود ولها مقعد في الأمم المتحدة، وأكثر الدول المحبة للسلام والديمقراطية تعترف بها. بقي مجموعة من الدول لا تعترف بها، وهي دول الاستبداد والقمع. مثلا على ذلك كوريا الشمالية لا تعترف بإسرائيل، ولكن هذا لا يضير الدولة وأنها موجودة شئنا أم أبينا. دولة إسرائيل تملك من المراكز
אני אדר ברינר, התגייסתי לצבא לפני שנתיים, הייתי לוחם בכפיר, שמה שחשוב שהתגייסתי לצבא זה שידעתי מצווה גדולה וחשיבות גדולה לשמור על עם ישראל, במיוחד שכל המשפחה, כמעט כל המשפחה שלי גרים ביהודה ושומרון, ששם רוב הפיגועים, והתגייסתי עם הרבה רצון והרבה רצון לפגוש אנשים ולתרום כמה שאפשר, והתגייסתי באמת עם כל הסוגים של האנשים. הייתי צרפתים, ספרדים, רוסים, כולם היו ביחד, וזה מה שיפה בצבא גם, שכולם באים ביחד להגן על עם ישראל מכל הארצות, מכל המדינות, מכל הארץ, מכל הסוגים, אנשים שבחיים לא היית נפגש איתם וסתם ככה הוא מדבר איתם והם הופכים למשפחה שלך. ובצבא באמת בכפיר אתה רוצה להרבה אנשים ומונה הרבה פיגועים, שיש כל מיני דברים שמונים רצח של עם ישראל ולשמור על עם ישראל בכל מיני דרכים, ובשביל זה התגייסתי לתרום כמה שאפשר ולעזור כמה שאפשר עם ישראל, ואני שמח על כל חלק, זה ממליץ.
المراكز العلمية والجامعات ما لا تملكه أعتى الدول العربية وأقدم الدول العربية أبدا. أنا أعترف بإسرائيل أنها دولة وحقيقة واقعة، ولكن لا أنكر عروبتي ولا أنكر انتمائي للدول العربية.
أنا ما أعرف يعني، شوف خلي حاجة إطار الموضوع. القضية الفلسطينية عموما واحتلال فلسطين، هذه قضية عربية ولا قضية دينية؟
ليس هناك احتلال، ليس هناك احتلال، هناك شعب عاد إلى أرضه الموعودة. هل تعرف تاريخ بني إسرائيل؟ ضارب في القدم، وتاريخ بني إسرائيل قبل الإسلام، وبالتالي يجب أن نعترف ونحن مسلمين أن بني إسرائيل لهم الحق في هذه الأرض ولم يغتصبوها.
هناك مقالة مبادرة ذكرت فيها حرفيا يا ليتني كنت جنديا إسرائيليا.
نعم.
يعني هل وصل يعني الآن هو الموضوع ما هو عاد يعني موضوع اعتراف فقط، أنت اليوم تتمنى أن تكون جندي فيها.
نعم.
وما تربطها بلسانك، تربطها كشباب عربي.
نعم.
يعني تربطها بأن الشباب العربي يتمنى أن يكون جنود لإسرائيل. هل هذا منطقي وواقعي؟
هذا المقال كتب عام 2006 عندما خطف الجندي الإسرائيلي جمعاد شاليت. وأمنيتي أن أكون جنديا إسرائيليا ليس المقصود بها أن أحمل السلاح وأحارب مع إسرائيل. الأمنية هي أن الدولة هي دولة إسرائيل كيف انتفضت عن بكرة أبيها لتدافع عن جندي واحد إسرائيلي. فأنا أقول يا ليتني كنت جنديا حتى تدافع عني دولتي. بالله عليك لو كان هذا الجندي في دولة عربية دون أن أسمي دولة معينة، هل كانت أمته أو كانت دولته أو كان رئيس دولته حينتفض نفس الانتفاضة التي انتفضته إسرائيل لآلاف القتلى من الدول العربية ولا أحد يهتم بهم؟
Hi, I'm Another Isaiah, grandson of Gita and Sheldon. I'm proud to have served in the IDF as part of the Givati Brigade.
Welcome to The Watchman. You know, people sometimes ask me, why Israel? Stacklebeck, why do you and Christians United for Israel do what you do and stand so strongly with the Jewish state? And most importantly, Israel is God's people and God's land. Period. How else can you explain to people being scattered from their ancestral homeland and then returning 2,000 years later against all odds?
Hi, it's Katie Bresser, I do business with children who live in the Frat Israel. They tell you a little bit about their lives here. We have my daughter Annette, and my son Josh. They get both here after Army experience. Also Josh, and what life is like living in Israel.
Well, you can start email address.
Okay, well, I was greatly influenced by Bnei Akiva and going to Mosheva, and I came to Israel when I was 14 to be on the kibbutz for a year. Parents came a year later. And when I finished the high school, went to the Army, first I served in demolition and which was actually very interesting. Although, as you can imagine, we're blowing up things of demolition. And at some point, I transferred from demolition into a much calmer job. I was actually working with the computers, interesting because if you ever see Star Wars and the computers they had back there, these big white consoles, that's the kind of thing they had there. And when that was all said and done, we spent the next 10 years in reserve duty preparing ourselves for the Iraq War with what do you do when bombs fall and crowd control, and there's a lot of very interesting things that we did then. We feel blessed to wake up in the morning and look at the hills and know these are the hills that Abraham walked on as he walked from Hebron to Yerushalayim. We see the terrace farming, and you know the terraces were built by the time, at least the foundations of the terraces, for the time of Yeshua. So we feel like we're living Jewish history, and it's a big blessing to be able to live here in Eretz Israel.
Thank you. Very meaningful. And that's pretty much
I came to Israel in 1982, a long time ago, after studying at Machon Gold for a year. And came to Israel and fell in love with the country after studying in high school a lot and elementary school about Israel and falling in love with the country. Decided that I wanted to stay, meeting hubby, and fell in love with my chayal, with my soldier, long time ago. And like Josh says, we've been blessed. Thank God, we've got 5 children, we've got 4 grandchildren, and Ezrat Hashem, many more in the future. And I think one of the most special things about living in Israel, we see that our kids, they sit and they learn in school, and they're learning Tanakh, and we're just living it. We're just living it. We walk the streets, like Josh said, you know, Avram Avinu walked, and it's great. Everything's in Hebrew, and you can get kosher food. It's not a problem. And we're waiting for all of you to come to Israel also.
To build a thriving democracy that is fulfilling that biblical destiny as a light unto the nations. God keeps his promises. In the book of Jeremiah, God Almighty says, the days are coming when I will bring my people Israel and Judah back from captivity and restore them to the land I gave their ancestors to possess. Ladies and gentlemen, that day is here.
Hi everyone, this is Yaakov Greenberg. I am Michael and Galen Nykrug's grandson. Hi Saba, hi Grandma. And I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, where I made Aliyah a couple months ago. But I originally came to Israel in Yeshiva Har Tzion, in Rosh Tzion. And now I'm in the Rabbinut Tzva'it, which is the chaplaincy of the Israeli army, where I am something called Rakaz Mor, which is to be the supervisor and overseer of Rakaz Mor in the Israeli army. Rakaz Mor are assistant chaplains, and basically what I do is I'm constantly in contact with them to deal with various issues in their jobs, whether it's technical, whether it's helping them prepare shiurim, whether it's directing them to different other offices in the Rabbanut. I visit their bases, I check up on them, I write stuff for them to help them throughout their tafkid, throughout their job, and we try to make it the most as successful as possible. So everyone Chag Sameach, and happy Yom Haatzmaut.
The Middle East stands at a fateful crossroads, for an epic battle is now underway between tyranny and freedom. And like all of you, I pray that the peoples of the region choose the path less traveled, the path of liberty. Israel has always embraced this path. In a region where women are stoned, gays are hanged, Christians are persecuted, Israel stands out. It is different.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce you now to our granddaughter and her husband, Meitar, Stana and Meitar, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their lives here in Israel. Meitar maybe is a little hesitant with his English, but we'll see as if he's learned a lot. Yeah. Okay. Jane?
So hi, my name is Shayla, I'm Katie's granddaughter. I was born here in Israel, in Efrat, and I studied in high school in Kiryat Arba, next to Hebron, which is a very intense experience, but also very close to the land. After I finished high school, I did my national service in Tzfat, in an organization that's called Bivnot, which and we have a program of hiking and volunteering, doing mostly construction work, if people can afford it, and studying about Judaism and about Israel. A lot of them end up making Aliyah to do the connection. And today I'm a physical therapist and I work in Tel Aviv. And
Hello. So my name is Meitar. I'm living in Israel. As you can hear, I believe I'm Sabra. I was born here. I met Shaina about 4 years ago. And I knew Shaina, and through her I knew Gush Etzion and the Jewish community in Gush Etzion. And I'm serving as an officer in the IDF. I'm captain, and in December I'm supposed to finish my service. It's about time. And I really recommend you to come and at least visit Israel, because here you can feel yourself, and I feel very good here in Israel. And I think that's it. Maybe you'd like to continue.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that you're taking part in the Haatzmaut program. That you can have the feeling, you can give us the feeling of what you feel. We can't feel it all 100%, but we admire those people who are really keeping our country safe.
We have a free press, independent courts, an open economy. Courageous Arab protesters are now struggling to secure these very same rights for their peoples, for their societies. We're proud in Israel that over 1 million Arab citizens of Israel have been enjoying these rights for decades. Of the 300 million Arabs in the Middle East and North Africa, only Israel's Arab citizens enjoy real democratic rights. I want you to stop for a second and think about that. Of those 300 million Arabs, less than 1/2% are truly free, and they're all citizens of Israel. This startling fact reveals a basic truth. Israel is not what is wrong about the Middle East. Israel is what is right about the Middle East.
My father served with distinction in the U.S. military for 23 years, and I had the honor of serving in the IDF in the Golani Brigade about 30 years ago. My wife Gal served as an instructor in the Paratroopers Brigade. My daughter Eli served as a Hebrew instructor for Bedouin trackers in the IDF, and currently I have two daughters, Oriana and Nohar, serving in the IDF. Oriana serves as an officer in the intelligence unit, and Nohar also serves in a special unit, and I can't really elaborate on that. My son Abishai, who's 18, is scheduled to be inducted into the IDF this coming fall, God willing, and I have two younger sons. Israelis like to say, I hope my children won't serve in the IDF, because they say that hopefully by the time those children reach draft age, there will no longer be a need for us to serve in the military, and Israel's defense will be safe.
That's it.
Before transitioning to the more festive part of our evening, Yom Haatzmaut, I would like to thank my committee members and sponsors for helping to make this evening possible. Their names are listed on the program. Okay, we decided to make this evening really memorable by inviting the renowned Israeli singer and